This is Rose AJ with the Carnivore Connection with Miss Brenda as my co-host today, y'all. Brenda, can you take a minute or two to reintroduce yourself in case people don't know who you
Okay.
are?
All right. So I'm Brenda Ramirez. I'm 65 years old. I live down here in Olympia, Washington. I started carnivore 3 years ago. That was life changing for me. Totally shifted my whole mindset on health and so many things just blew my mind with carnivore. So I had to like renew my mind with carnivore, started it, and what a life changer for me. So what's great about that is after I got into the carnivore lifestyle, it is a lifestyle and you learn so many things about optimal health. You're introduced to so many things and people, just broadens your mind and expands your opportunities along the way for optimal health. And it's been really great, very eye opening. And I've been healed of well, I've reversed a lot of inflammation. Took off close to 60 pounds and yeah, and just increased my energy, my mental clarity, lots of things like that. So it's been awesome.
Well, thank you, Brenda. I entered into this space in 2018, first through the ketogenic diet because my daughter was selling exogenous ketones. Then I went down a rabbit hole after having being at my wits end quite literally in June of 2018 with perimenopause, menopause. And I exited my career of 23 years because God blatantly told me that if I stayed to retirement, which would have been 7 more years, I would have hit my ultimate rock bottom along the lines of never being restored to my full health. So when he speaks, I listen. So I eventually went into carnivore in January of 2020, had several relapses, meaning that I had to do a lot of experimentation before I understood what would finally work for me. And I've been on that road ever since. But what me and Brenda are here today to talk to you guys about is that although we are true to carnivore, true to the game, and we love it, there are some things that carnivore will not fix, will not repair, will not heal, even though we would want carnivore to be our ultimate solution to everything. So throughout the years, I have had a lot of additional life hacks, like whatever the latest thing is, I'm not afraid to try it, especially if it's a reasonable cost and it's accessible to me, right? So why not try it? So with that being said, I want to talk to you about a couple of life hacks that Brenda and I have experienced individually just in this past year. Would you like to share one or two experiences that you've had as far as a life hack and why you chose to do them? And what are you looking forward to trying next that might be on your radar
Okay.
that you haven't tried?
All right. So the first one I'll mention is the getting out in the morning for morning light, take my glasses off. I spend at least 20 minutes, usually it's about 20 minutes. And that I started doing because I have heard about their circadian rhythm disruption and how that can impact your hormones and all kinds of things. And I thought, well, there's a lot to it. And sometimes it's hard to just go full board and do everything that you're supposed to do to get to focus on circadian rhythm. And I'm not really ready for the whole meal deal on that right now. But I thought, what is there something small I can get into my habits? And it took me a little while, but now it is a definite habit. Every morning I go out 20 minutes, morning light, preferably sunlight, but we don't always get sunlight here. So, and one thing, my kitties go out with me. They love to spend that morning time with mom. They'll hang out on the porch and wait for me like, come on, aren't you coming? So it's fun for some time with my kitties too. And I wanted to mention on that this is something I would like to try, and I actually signed up. Dr. Lisa Wiedemann put out a clip about the CRD challenge, and it's coming up October 20th. And I went ahead and responded. She sent me the link to it, and it's a 21-day bite-size challenge from my understanding, where they'll you sign up for it, and then you have 21 days of insight into how to work on your circadian rhythm disruption. So I thought, okay, that's something new. I signed up for it. We'll see how that goes, and then I can learn a lot, maybe add some more habits that to build on what I've already started. And then,
Oh,
yeah, isn't that
wait a
cool?
minute. Break down what CRD is, please.
Circadian rhythm disruption. So
Got it.
if you're curious about it, you can go to thecrdchallenge.com or
Okay.
go to Dr. Lisa's Instagram and search her posts for that, and she would send you a link. But she sent me the link. You can go to thecrdchallenge.com and sign up for that. You just have to sign up, and it's free. So that's always good when it's free. It just
Yes.
time. It does take time. So then another thing that I started. Actually, it's been 1 year that I did this. The slow burn resistance training. So I go to a place down here in Olympia. They have 2 locations, but it's called Abstract Bodyworks or Precision Bodyworks. I go in, I started at 2 days a week, and they set me up for a resistance training, and it's slow and heavy, but it's quick. Takes about less than 10 minutes. They have me all set up. I do schedule an appointment. They're coaching me. They make me lift more than I would do myself. But they have pushed me. I'm constantly upping my weights. Every time I go in, they increase it, even if it's a pound or 2 pounds. And I go in, I started with 2 times a week. And then after a few months, they said, you're a good candidate to cut back to 1. You've built up your strength so well. So I go in once a week. So that helps financially because there is the financial cost. But for me, it's been great. It's a time saver, and it's a life changing. I'm building muscle and strength. That's awesome. So I love that. And it's been 1 year I've been doing that now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what is slow burn?
Means that you've got a heavy weight, the heaviest weight you can lift, and you push slowly and through the cycle, and then you don't just let it go back. You kind of slow lift or push or pull depending on the machine that you're using, and then you do only about 6 or 7 reps. In my case, that's what we do depending on the machine. But they can tell, they can see when I'm starting to wobble or shake, or it's like, okay, you can do 1 more. And I'd be like, oh, really? But it's really works out. You can also do it in your own home gym. Frederick Hahn is the one I heard about it from Dr. Lisa Wiedemann again. She hosted him on, did a video with him, and he has a book. In fact, where I go, they have a book from Frederick Hahn about slow burn method. And you can do weights your own. You can do the push pull and lift with weights, but you want to use the heaviest weights you can for a very small number of reps and slowly. And that's what helps to build the muscle. It keeps your resistance improving constantly. So yeah, that's
Okay.
really
Well,
good.
I believe in strength training in any capacity that you're willing to do it, whether it's with your body weights, milk jugs, rocks, whatever. Babies, if you have a baby, lifting a baby, because being stronger in any capacity is only going to help us as we age, right? We need that lean muscle mass. And for
Yes.
me, I'm a little old school on that, Brenda, meaning I like to get down and dirty. I like to lift the free weights. There's some machines that I gravitate towards depending on what I'm working on.
But
Yeah.
Frederick Hahn, I believe, has shown how to do with free weights. And I'm sure there's other videos that would show that how you can it's like making the most impact in the least amount of time.
Least amount of time.
So it's a time saver, but you're still
Okay.
getting that great impact. So yeah, my muscles are they show it to me every time. Yes, it works.
I've tried a numerous amount of things throughout the years, but more specifically, this year, what I've done is a sensor that we said that came out was using the Stello. So I ordered that, and I had ordered another CGM as well, the actual CGM. And what I wanted to do was to compare the products because I had used levels in the past. So when new things are out that are affordable, it piques my curiosity. So for these biosensors, you get two, right? You get two. So one will last you 2 weeks. So what I did for like the first 8 days, I just wore the Stello alone. Then I overlapped it with the other CGM, the actual CGM. Now they both give you a great picture of what your blood glucose is doing, and they run pretty close as far as the numbers, although there are some differences. And then the Stello, it's more of like for people that don't have diabetes, that just want to be curious about what their blood glucose is doing. But the CGM actually gives you the broader view, the actual picture, and it's closer, I think, into real time because it's more in depth. However, my CGM timed out at 12 days instead of the 14. So I was truly, truly disappointed in that. So that was one thing that I've done that's a little different this year, as well as I purchased a vibration plate because I had been hearing about vibration plates. They're good for the lymphatic system and whatnot. So I decided, well, why not invest in one? So it's really interesting, and it does help build muscle, and it really helps me with my recovery. So this is going to lead us up to what I was sharing with you guys about that Brenda had been doing something since July, and we met on September the 14th at the Carnivore Connection, and it was my first time meeting Brenda in person, but we had been friends online for a couple of months prior to that. And as you know, when people get together, there's like 50 topics that can be going at once, or one main topic. So I had been seeing Brenda on Instagram applying something, and I was like, what is she doing? So I remembered to ask her, and she gave the group an overview, which is what I would like for her to share today. And what the product is, why she's using it, and how I became intrigued, and what my problem is, and what I'm hoping that it will solve for me. So go ahead, Miss Brenda.
Okay, and I should have brought a little patch to show, but I do have it on my. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So the X39 patch. What this is, it's a phototherapy in a patch. And what is phototherapy? When you go out in the sun will hit your skin, and it causes your body to create vitamin D. So that's a form of phototherapy. But this patch has a lattice structure of organic amino acids, sugars, and salts that are put together in this patch, sealed patch, and it's able to give instructions to your body electronically, because we have an electrical circuit in our body that has all these wonderful, amazing communications going on, and it tells your body to create or generate GHKCU copper peptides. Well, what the heck do those do? They do a lot. But one of the great things that happens is they activate your stem cells. Most people have no clue that by about age 30, almost half of your stem cells are dormant. And then by age 60, you may have 10% active stem cells. So most of them would be dormant by the time you're 60. Well, I'm 65. So anyway,
let me interrupt you for a minute. I didn't know about that until you talked to us on the 14th about that, about the stem cells, right?
Yeah.
I had no clue about that. Did you have any clue about that prior to
No,
going down this road?
no.
Okay, and let us backtrack a little bit more, Brenda, because I'm going to interrupt you the whole time because I want to make sure I'm understanding, right?
Okay.
So I remember asking you, how did you get tuned into this? How did you find out about Life Waves? So can you share with the audience how you initially found out about it if you didn't know about, um, go ahead, the
Right.
regeneration and all that stuff? Yeah.
So I've been very curious about optimal health for quite a while. And so I'm always curious and open to learning about new ways to achieve optimal health because there's so many things. Like you said earlier, carnivore doesn't heal everything. There's many things, many ways that we can get healing in our body or improve our health going forward. So you can layer different things. And I have one of my friends that I've known mostly online. I have met her in person a few times. She's in California, but she posted about this new thing. And I'm like, what? And she's very into optimal health as well. So I said, tell me about that. So I actually watched some videos. She sent me to a link called thisisit.info.com, and they have all kinds of information there, videos, lots of information about it. But then I actually watched, well, I watched several videos and learned about the technology, the invention, the inventor, and all the things. But just like carnivore, what really, really got me was the testimonials because I learned about carnivore and, you know, I would hear Dr. Baker talk about it or Dr. Berry, but, and Dr. Chafee later, but so many testimonials about life-changing, life changes just from using carnivore. Well, with this patch, it's amazing because activating your stem cells, your body knows your your body knows where it needs healing. And so it will go to wherever it needs to go and start working on that. Whatever it is that's most important for your body, it's going to start working on that. And then it'll, you know, it'll go all over. All different, right? And some people have autoimmune disorders, some people have arthritis, or some people will have, there's so many things that we all have wrong with us. And
Yes.
so it, the testimonials were amazing. I'm floored by the vast, the broadness, the spectrum of the healings. Um, Generally, everybody experiences more energy, mental clarity, stamina, strength, but they also will find healing in their aches and pains, their muscles, whatever they have. Sleep, there's many people say improve sleep. And then there's just the inner healing. People have talked about that their gums have, their recession has reversed, which
Okay.
I've had bone, I've had gum surgery in the past. So I've always got to watch that. So I'm expecting some reversal in that. But the studies also have proven that there's reverse aging using this product. One of those things is like after 6 months, I believe it is, that your heart reverses, or the study that they did on a person, their heart reversed 8 years after 6 months.
Can you tell us also who founded this product and why, and that an actual patent, for an actual patent, you have to go through the FDA and all that good stuff. So it's not just some claims that are being made.
Right.
You have to go through clinical trials and errors and all that good stuff to actually have a patent of this degree,
Right.
right?
Yes. So David Schmidt is the inventor of the product, and he actually started over 20 years ago with, he was working for the government. He was working with the Navy SEALs actually to try to develop a way for them to stay longer in the submarines so that without stimulants and without drugs, and trying to find a way to improve their strength, their stamina, their energy and clarity, all that. So he produced an energy enhancer patch. Well, then suddenly there was 9/11 and the government said, oh, we don't need you anymore. We're going to go work on weapons instead. So he was able to go and get a patent on this technology, and he continued to do research in stem cells and working with stem cells. And he continued to create more patches for different things. He has over 180 patents, and there's quite a large number of clinical studies that have been done, because when you get a patent, you have to prove that your product does what it says it will do. So he was able to do, there's, and in the thisisit.info.com, you can have access to the patent, you can have access to the clinical studies, besides the testimonials and listening to David Schmidt. There's a video with David Schmidt. I love listening to him. He's a very humble man who gives credit to God for giving him this insight and wisdom in this. But the thing about X39 patch, 2020 is when the X39 patch came out. And so that has been like the superstar, because the other patches focus on specific things, like maybe your sleep or just the energy, things like that. And X39 blows it all away because it impacts your whole body. So it's that's the superstar, and what they encourage people to give this a try and see what it'll do for your body. For me, I love the energy because I already had carnivore energy, but this is even more. And so that continuous energy, but also I know that inner healing is going on, and the reverse aging. So that's going to take more time to see how that manifests, and I'm looking forward to it. One thing I did at the beginning was I went ahead and took pictures of the things that, the little quirks about my body externally, that bumps on my fingers and spider veins and some skin tags or moles, their skin phase, so I can just look at the difference, because this also increases your collagen. Your collagen is not just your external skin, but also all the organs in your body are affected by collagen. So it increases collagen everywhere. So I'm just looking forward to all the things, age reversing, and I'm excited for the future.
So let me tell you, my first time of hearing any of this, I was captivated, Brenda, when you talked about it on September the 14th. And I think a couple of the other ladies were just as captivated and interested in it as well. But what I did with the information that you gave me, I was like, but I need to do my own research. So I immediately went to the website itself, and I did YouTube, and I went to other people that are also talking about it, right? Separate from Brenda and her team and whatnot. If I can just be candid with you, as I've probably shared before, I don't do any type of medication, and it's by choice. And I've never been medicated for my depression and other issues that I've had. It's by choice, because addiction has run in my biological family, and I've always had that in the back of my mind, because I'm a food addict. I get hooked on food, sugar, sweets, along with other things. For a short period of time, it was alcohol. So I don't want aspirin, I don't want ibuprofen and whatnot. So this patch is totally different than a transdermal patch, meaning that if it's transdermal, it's putting medication, it's putting something into your system. This is being activated by, can you repeat that again?
This is not something that treats, diagnoses, or cures. However, there's it does actively work in your body to generate healing, the healing process. So I like to just say that. And then, yes, I didn't explain. So that lattice structure, when you, in the patch, when you put it on your body, it's activated by your body heat. So if you were to look out with the night vision goggles and you found a body out there somewhere in the dark, that's we all have that inner body heat, the light in us. So the patches, what they do is reflect back the light in your body, and that starts that communication process electrically to tell your body to create GHKCU copper peptides. And yes, it's non-transdermal. There's no drugs. Nothing from the patch goes in your body. It just activates the light. It reflects the light in your own body. Also, something very interesting is if you have an allergy to adhesives, like our friend has, that when we were at the table, she said, I have an allergy to adhesives. Well, they've actually done testing on that, and you can take the patch and stick it inside your clothing. As long as it's next to your body, it'll activate. So it doesn't have to be stuck on your body. You can just have it attached to clothing that's very close to your body. People even use it on their pets. If they have a collar, that if they use a patch, that's another thing. So we use the patch for 12 hours. You put it on in the morning, have it on for 12 hours, toss it at night. Or if you have a pet that's old or sick and they have a collar, you can take the patch and there's a little more activation still left on it and put it on the inside of their collar, and it could possibly help your pet. There's people that, go ahead.
No, there's people that what?
That do that use, take their used patch, because it doesn't mean it's done. It's just that the clinical studies show that the best way was to wear it on for 12 hours and then off for 12 hours, and then a new patch the next day, on for 12 hours, off for 12 hours. And what that does is it helps your body with, I think they call it attenuation, so that you don't constantly have that reaction going on. You give your body a break and then it'll react again. That's how the clinical studies were done. So that's what they recommend. Just 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and new patches each time.
Disclaimer is that, yes, it's for overall wellness. There's no cure. It's only to aid your system in what it's probably already doing or needs to be amplified a little bit.
Right.
Is that right? Right.
Yeah.
For general wellness. Yeah. So I started today because I ordered, I think on Monday night or something, and it came in yesterday, and I was uber excited about it, Brenda. So I started today with mine, and I want to tell the audience something that got me to this point where I was willing to try is I quit coffee like 66 days ago. Quit coffee because the goal was never to be enslaved to anything, and that was one of my last vices that I let go of, right? And I used like black tea to help me transition, but I'm not really a tea girl, so I let that go. I'm just whatever without, and it's not the caffeine that I was running away from. It was being hooked on 4, 5, 6 cups of coffee without blinking an eye a day. I've never been a good sleeper, meaning, 6 to 8 hours straight and, loving life as a result of getting good sleep. And so I thought with cutting out the coffee and exiting my system that I would have a better opportunity to see what consistent sleep would be like. But my body still operates at the same level with or without coffee. And a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to someone about the sleep remedies that she uses. Again, I don't want to do anything that is going to affect the way I function. I can't even take NyQuil, to be quite honest, because about 25 years ago, I took NyQuil and it was like I was in a drunk stupor the next day from the night before. So I'm really sensitive to that stuff. But she told me what she was using, and I go, that's not an option for me. So when Brenda was talking about this and was talking about it being a overall general wellness, and she mentioned sleep, I peaked up a little bit more. But I bought 2 months supply of, the general wellness, the X39. And what I'm doing and what I'm praying for you guys, and please pray for me, is that I'm going to be using Silent Night. I don't know if you guys can see it. So I'll be using the X39 during the day, and then I'll be using this at night at about 7 p.m. to about 5 or 6 a.m. whenever I'm up and moving and getting ready for the day. My hope is that it will help me to get the quality sleep that I've been seeking, and just have a better outcome every morning. Because I think right now I'm really productive. Overly productive is my problem. And the Carnivore Zen is there, but I'm very focused, type A. So with that being said, I have a sleep app on my phone, as well as that's hooked to my watch, my Apple Watch. But I put my Aura Ring back on, and I'm going to do that for the next 60 days, because then it'll be two separate pieces of information. And if they come in relatively close together, like the CGM and the biosensor, then that's great. But if they're like really disparaging information, then I'll know what I'm working with, right? So today is going to be day 1 of this sleep silent nights, and I want to check back in at about every 14 to 21 days throughout the 60-day period to give you guys updates. And sometimes I think if we take a product, or if we're using a product, we believe in the product, is it a placebo effect, or is it actual effects that we're getting, right? Results. Because sometimes you can believe in something so much because of the media or past experiences, but are you really applying it to yourself today? So I'm going to take a time out and really journal what I am experiencing and having troubles with, and look at it very objectively as I can. And so does that sound too overthinking it to you, Brenda?
No, I think that's great that
Yeah.
you would want to do that, to see if this is something that
Yeah.
you really want to do. And because if you don't take stock of where you're at now and notice along the way, you may forget, like maybe you'll know there will be a change, but you don't notice it because you didn't document it. So I think it's really good to go ahead and pay attention where you're at right now. Write all the things down, or like you have your ring that you're going to use, and documenting things too.
Yeah.
Have an awareness of what is this really doing for you? What's changing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's my goal with that. If you want more information, Brenda's information is in the show notes as well as mine, but she's taking the lead in this conversation because I did share with her that I wanted to have my own personal testimony as far as if this was something that actually worked for me first and foremost, and if it's something that I could stand by. Because if I buy it every month or every 6 months or whatever the supply is, then I can attest to that and keep talking about it and keep asking you guys to come back and have conversations about not just this, but other things that may be out there helping us. So we will check back, and I will give you an update in maybe 10, 14, or 21 days, whatever me and Brenda can get our calendars together. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to her or me, because I do believe that this is going to be listed under one of my favorite things.
This is fun, and I love the conversations because I keep learning from you and the other ladies that you have on your channel. So I love being in your community. I'm looking forward to our next event. So
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun, and I'm looking forward to all the things that we're doing to get our optimal health, not just for us, but to share it with others so that they can have their optimal health as well.
And that's the key word, Brenda, optimal health, because I think we also had a conversation at that round table that everybody carnivores differently. At least that's how I coach my clients. Everyone carnivores differently. We don't need a stamp of approval about what we need to do to get to our optimal health. And I believe that once we're there, we're never really there because it's a continual journey, right? You might coast for a little while and then notice or hear about something else that you want to jump onto and experiment with, because we've only got one life and it's a great life, right?
Yes, a great one.
Yes. All right, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Carnivore Connection with my beautiful co-host, Miss Brenda Ramirez. And again, state your age because our audience needs to know what we have to look forward to, girl.
I'm 65, and I know that I'm better than I was, and I plan to keep getting better. So.
Right on. And then maybe on the next episode, Brenda, also we can bring in some before and afters. We can share that and see if you would like to. She's also got an interview on my channel, guys. If you look back, I think maybe 2 months or so, look back, her interview is there too, and you can learn more about her. All right. With that being said, thank you guys for being here. Brenda, you stay on, girlfriend. All right. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.